just been the Home Secretary has just made it a prescribed terrorist group. For me, I see that, and like you, I want these people arrested. I have absolutely no hope that they will be arrested. I have no belief. I have no. There's nothing that's.
They'll never be arrested. Never, 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 never.
It's great for you to say, I want these people arrested, but
Yeah.
is there actually any indication that anything will be done?
I mean, it would only be done if there was pressure from the top to do it. I mean, that guy that Piers Morgan interviewed, who's the head of Hizb ut-Tahrir in the UK, who's a GP on the NHS, I mean, obviously now the group's been banned, he should be arrested. Will he be? I'm not holding my breath. He should be. He should be in prison right now. Member of a banned terrorist group. But I mean, by the way, that one, I mean, wow, talk about slow learning. I mean, I remember after the 7/7 attacks in 2005, Tony Blair said that he would prescribe Hizb ut-Tahrir, which is a really low-hanging fruit. I mean, many Muslim countries have banned them. You know, they're banned in Pakistan, they're banned in Egypt.
They don't want them.
They're not actually the most dangerous jihadist organization, but they're very, very nasty, and they shouldn't be operating in the UK. But, you know, Tony Blair said he'd ban them. He didn't, for reasons I discussed with some of his colleagues at the time. They thought that it was being too difficult legally. They'd be subject to legal challenge at the European courts or something.
So
David
what?
Cameron, whenever he wanted to sound tough, said, we're going to ban Hizb ut-Tahrir. Mark my words, he didn't ban them. James
Another
Cleverly, to give him credit, the
PUSSY.
current Home Secretary has, and I think that he deserves credit for that. Tom Tugendhat, Security Minister, just signed that into law a few days ago. But I regard that as being the lowest hanging fruit. I mean, the lowest hanging fruit, which they've got to show me and others they're going to do something about.
Oh, but they'll go people after online for tweeting something.
That almost 20 years after the British government first said they'd ban this group, finally a British government does. Can we go at that speed?
Well, quite. If that's the rate, then we're in trouble.
Molasses.
Yeah, and you know, by the way, there's a technical thing that's worth mentioning, because I haven't said this before. There's a technical thing that's very interesting about the British approach to this, which is the British police for about 20 years have taken the view that you shouldn't do things on camera, as it were. You shouldn't do things that make a situation potentially worse. So, in 2006, when the Danish cartoons of Muhammad were published, 2005 they were published, the Danish cartoons of Muhammad, and all the frothing maniacs around the world went bonkers about Denmark, and suddenly everyone was talking about this poor, wonderful but small country of 5 million people, and they were at the eye of a real whirlwind. There was this protest outside the Danish embassy in London in 2006, and people had placards saying "Behead those who insult Islam" and other charming bits of information. And the police did nothing. In fact, the only person they did threaten that day was literally a white van driver who stopped, and he said to the police, "What the fuck, mate? They're doing this?" And the police said, "Get in your car or we'll arrest you." So that was the one thing the police did that day. Now,
cowards.
Subsequently, they used the 2006 Glorification of Terrorism Act to try and, in some cases, to imprison the people who were inciting terrorism on the streets of London that day. I still get sent, Winston, those photos by people around the world saying, look what's happening on the streets of London. And I say, well, this is actually, 17 years ago now. But the world doesn't know that. And the world doesn't know, and very few British people would even know, that actually the police in the end did move in. It's the same thing with the Luton protests, when in, 2009 or so, the 2nd Battalion of the Anglian Regiment came for a homecoming parade in Luton, were barracked by a load of jihadists on the streets of Luton. Locals were understandably very annoyed that these jihadists were insulting our troops, and the police protected the jihadists. And then we got the English Defence League and Tommy Robinson and so on from that, exactly from that occasion. And in more recent times, I mean, there was an occasion when about 100 guys from Al-Mujah Haroun, which was subsequently banned, accosted me in the streets in London. And I noticed, as it got rather nasty, that there were police who got to the scene, and they were hanging back taking photographs. And in the subsequent days, colleagues and others were taken in for questioning by the police to identify people in the crowd who were surrounding me. subsequently, some of them were arrested, but they were arrested because one of them, or a group of them, turned out were plotting a Mumbai-style attack on the London Stock Exchange. Some of them had a hit list of prominent figures in British public life, which I can't name who was on it, but
really nice people,
murder.
right? Oh yeah, these are
One
real
of the killers of Lee Rigby was there.
citizens of the country.
And they've done this subsequently. They've done this in the London protests. They hang back and they take photographs of Hizb ut-Tahrir saying, "Rise up, Muslim armies." And they take photographs and then they move in later. They don't realize the optics of this. They're think
terrible.
They're so clever, the police. And I'm not a professional
They're
policeman, but I can tell
stupid.
this.
It's retarded.
This is a horrible policy.
So
Because
true.
First of all, you have the horrible optics going not just around Britain, but around the world that say, look at what a pushover the Brits are.
Yeah.
Second,
I mean, that is so true. That is so freaking true. It happens here in the United States every time. They don't do anything. Nothing. Zip, zero, nada. Do you know how many burnings happened in the inauguration of President Trump when he won? They looted, they vandalized, they burned vehicles, they set buildings on fire. They were grabbing cash machines, trying to get into them. Did anybody get arrested? Oh, they might have got arrested. Did anybody go to jail? Hell no. They were all let go. But then you protest on J6, and guess what? You're in jail for 20 years because you were in the wrong goddamn room. The hell is that all about? No, this is right. This is an absolutely insane, asinine policy. Oh, let's take some selfies with the terrorists and the protesters. And we'll go in later because we don't want to do anything that's going to escalate. What are you, cowards? Get in there and do something. Do your damn job. You're the police. You're not a bunch of pansies. Well, do you act like it? Come on.
you incite increasing rage among the normal public.
Absolutely.
What the hell is happening on our streets? Where the hell are the police?
Have their head up their ass.
So you get the Islamists get more bold,
Absolutely.
the public get more disenfranchised, or just
So true.
fatalistic. Internationally, everyone sees Britain looking appalling. I would love a baton charge at them. I would love to see the British police. I'd love to borrow some police from Paris. And for them
Absolutely.
to go in and arrest them all on sight, drag them off to the cells there and then. That would be great for Britain.
Hallelujah.
It's all about this community policing. We've got to keep the communities on side. Well, you know what? If there's going to be so much uproar over arresting people on the streets calling for Muslim armies to arise and to attack, well, that tells us something too. And maybe it's time we learned that. Maybe we should learn that earlier rather than later.
And the police are perfectly capable of a baton charge.
Oh,
I've seen
yeah.
them do it against white working class groups that come into London.
The Metropolitan Police are fantastic at baton charges. When, for instance, there's
It's
a protest
against white
the murdered
people.
woman, Sarah Everard. Oh, I mean, wow, did the police move in there at that candlelit vigil for a murdered woman who was actually murdered by a policeman off duty. Wow, the police knew how to act then. Great work, guys. I mean, maybe we should say that we spotted Hizb ut-Tahrir and various other jihadists having a candlelit vigil for a young woman. Maybe that's how they'd move in.
I want to ask you about.
That's it. People of color, oh, we can't do that. We can't do that. No. The optics are going to look so bad. What are they going to look like? Police officers are arresting a brown person. They're arresting a black guy. They're arresting an Islamist terrorist fundamentalist. Can't have that. Can't have pictures of that. Can't have the media having video of that thing. That's circulating around the world. Oh, that'll put England in such a bad light. But, oh, there's some white people out there that are doing, oh, get the batons out, get the batons, the baton charge on the ready regiment. 1, 2, 3, go. It's the victims, the public, the British public. The public is basically saying, what in the F is going on over here? What about our rights? Who's protecting us? You guys are doing everything that you can to protect the protesters that are threatening our lives, threatening people with the sayings that are there. They try to incite violence, and you're not doing anything against them. When are you going to do it? 2-3 weeks later? It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir. I try to bring you my political perspective, my political prescription from my political perspective of what happens when countries just don't do what they're supposed to do and don't have the balls. They don't have the cojones. They don't have the guts to do what's right for the public and make sure that the civil laws are not being violated. Amazing, folks, amazing. It's on both sides of the pond. Maybe a little bit more on your side in England, but it's over here in America too, folks. We go through with the same bullshittery, as Douglas said, as you guys do. Anyways, put your comments down below. Let us know what you think. Subscribe to the channel. You all know what to do if you like our content. Like, share, and follow us. Take a look at our other videos above and below. My final thought is always, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.